go ahead and kind of get started with some of the basic ideas. This is actually a bag I would take to Europe for 2 weeks. That's it. Nothing else. I would be completely happy doing this. And the number one problem with deciding how to pack light is the bag itself. Now, a lot of people will love bags like this, rolling bags. We love our rolling bags. Do you know that most of these weigh at least 5 pounds minimum? That's the lightest bag you could possibly get with wheels, is 5 pounds. Some of them are 10 pounds. That's like carrying a sack of flour with you, just your bag, nothing in it at all. So that's one of your first considerations when you're trying to lighten up your packing, the bag itself. I actually went through, because I'm an architect and a nerd, I went through all the options of backpacks online to try and find what is the absolutely lightest bag you can find. Just these cheap little backpacks from Amazon. I have like 3 of these. My kids use them as well. And they don't weigh anything. They weigh probably maybe 6 or 7 ounces. So if you're starting with a bag that weighs nothing, you've already lightened your load. So if you pick up this versus that bag, you're gonna see you can't even compare, okay? So a simple bag that's really light, that's kind of the number one thing you wanna do. And of course, as I said, the weighing stuff. Now this is gonna be the tedious part, because you're gonna say, I'm not doing that. But once you start doing it, you're gonna always do it, I promise you. And I actually brought with me my kitchen scale, because I want to demonstrate. Do you have one of these? Okay. Go get one of these if you don't, or you can get one of the ones that's like a handheld bag scale. This is much better. This is just a typical kitchen scale. And what I do when I'm packing, and I have some nice clothes here from Title IX that I can kind of demonstrate with, is that sometimes when you're picking things to go in your bag, you don't quite understand what's light and what's not. And the biggest way to explain that is through pants. Pants are a funny thing. If you saw these pants on a rack, you would not know which of them was the lightest. I mean, look at these 2 pairs of pants. They look pretty much the same, right? If I was trying to pick them out, I'd be like, green, beige. I don't know, they kind of look the same. The fit's really similar. They're kind of the same size. Okay, well, let's find out which pair of pants we can bring, and you might actually be rather surprised. This is how I do this. Roll them all up. I'll turn the scale around. Oh, you guys can't see that anyway, that's okay. So what I've got here, 1 pound, 8 ounces. Okay, that's pretty heavy actually for a pair of pants. This pair of pants, which looks basically identical, probably fits the same. Let's roll this one up and see if that makes any difference. I actually didn't pick these out, so. Anybody guess how much this weighs?
Less than a pound.
8 ounces. 13 ounces.
10. So what we did is we almost lightened up 1 pound between 2 exactly similar pairs of pants, just in a different colorway. So you can see how this can go on, right? Every choice you make that goes into your backpack makes a difference. Every way you can lighten up your bag, even the smallest way, and I'll show you with some of the things I've chosen. It seems crazy, and I know a lot of people have told me that I'm nuts. One of my colleagues at Rick Steves came to me one day and said, oh, you're the girl who weighs her knickers. I'm like, I am, yes. Because the thing is, it makes such a difference, because if you took all of these things here in your bag might weigh 15 pounds, but if you take this selection of really lightweight things, it could be 10. And 5 pounds is a big deal if you're carrying it around. So this is kind of the cornerstone of my packing philosophy. I'm not going to tell you how much to bring. A lot of people will give you packing lists. I'm not you, I don't know you. You might need 20 pairs of underwear. You might need 6 different kinds of shirts. I don't know, everybody's got different needs. The important thing is just don't go over a weight. Set a weight for yourself. What is your weight goal? What can you realistically carry on your back? As I said, I'm 6'2". I go to the gym. I can carry a 40-pound bag, and it's okay. And some of my friends in the audience have seen that. It's not pretty, but you yourself might only be able to carry 10 pounds. So what you need to do is, how much does that weigh on your back? So probably step 1, find your bag. After you found your bag, fill it with a bunch of stuff and find the weight. Okay, so I'm gonna fill this up with 20 pounds. Put that on your back, go take a walk around your neighborhood. Go for a 10-minute walk. How does that feel? Can you deal with that? Because it's gonna be a lot more annoying when you're trying to hop on trains in Germany, right? So think about that, walk around the block, Come home, take stuff out if you think it's too heavy, or put stuff in if you think you can carry more. That's kind of the way I calibrate, for each of my trips. Okay, so weighing things, that is the top thing. Luckily here, you guys are gonna have lots of great options if you wanna poke around the store, but I'm gonna give you a really cheap little trick. Do you know where I buy my clothes for travel? The clearance rack at Target. Also because cheaper clothes often have lighter weight fabrics. So it's really up to you. You can find stuff in your own closet if you want, but there's a lot of really cool fabrics that are new that I don't even have. Like I was looking at the fabrics on this. This is like a very lightweight ripstop kind of fabric that'll dry. I was just in Florida yesterday. I wish I had this dress, because if you get wet, what are you gonna do? So let's go ahead and dive into what goes into your bag. You're gonna have 2 bags, no matter where you travel. You're gonna have your main bag, and you're gonna have something like this. Men might choose something different, but basically a day bag. You wanna have 2 separate items. That's what the airlines allow. So let's just kind of assume for that. As far as whose bags you wanna have, I don't have a particular preference, but if you wanna go high end, this is a brand called Tom Bin. They make beautiful stuff, and they're based here in Seattle. If you buy one of their bags, you will never buy another bag. This is probably 15 years old at least.
And what is the brand?
Tom Bin, B-I-H-N, and they're just in Soto. They make everything by hand in their workshop. And also, if you guys can't remember this stuff, I have business cards here, and you can go to my website. Most of this stuff is going to be on my website.
They just opened a store in Bellevue Square.
Did they? I didn't know.
Like 2 weeks ago.
I'm excited. I'm gonna go over there. So I have tons of luggage from them because their stuff is. I have to have professional level. Like this is industrial grade luggage. This is from Amazon. This is not industrial grade luggage. This is stuff that if you go on 1 trip a year, 2 trips a year maximum, that's fine. And the rolling bag that I'm going to show you is a Travel Pro bag. That's a very common kind of mid-range brand. I think this bag runs about $200, and it'll last you for 20 years probably. So this is I'll show you this bag. This is a very different concept of packing, but we'll talk about that as well. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is just talk quickly about day bags. I particularly love this bag because it has all these little pouches that you can put your important stuff. This has my credit cards, my passport, literally has my passport, so please nobody steal this bag right now. I'm gonna have a problem because I'm going to Italy soon. And then also a little pouch that has stuff for, change, for money, for jewelry, stuff like that. And then inside this bag, I just put anything I need for my day. So could be guidebooks, could be a Kindle. This has a little slot for tablet, whatever you want to bring. The most important thing in this bag that I want to show to you though, and this is your homework assignment, is a thing I call the box of awesome. I made this up. It's my own little invention. This is a Johnson & Johnson first aid kit from Target. Cost you about $2. And what I've done is on the inside, I've put all the things that I think will solve problems. Now this is 25 years of tour guiding experience talking. We have in here, Band-Aids, ointment, ibuprofen, anything that I can hand out to my tour guests to make their lives a little bit easier. Oh, look, thing to fix glasses. I don't know how many times I use this year fixing people's glasses. They love that kind of stuff. I keep a little tube of all the different generic medications like Pepto-Bismol, Tylenol PM, aspirin, because those are all really helpful. Benadryl, by the way, Benadryl, you are doing a public service by keeping Benadryl on you at all times. I can't tell you how many people I've handed them out to when they've had bad reactions from food, because you never know in a foreign country. Like if you're in a tour group and somebody eats something they can't deal with, I've actually had people who've kind of stopped breathing. But you give them a Benadryl and you save a life, so that's a nice thing to have on you. I keep tweezers. You never know when you might need tweezers. Safety pins, hairpins, buttons, little sewing kit. My favorite thing in here, and this is up to you what you put in here, I've Gorilla tape, so you can tape your bag back together. But I love this about, one thing, this is, as a lady, I keep a tampon in my bag just because you'll make a good friend someday if you have a secret tampon in your bag. But also, this sounds crazy, but Temprin. This is filling material in case your filling falls out.
Oh.
If you have a crown, I also have a pocket in here. I asked, I know,
I had
that's
no
funny.
idea.
I'm very, very prepared. You know I'm prepared. The other thing I have in here is a thing that you mix. It's an epoxy to put crowns back in your mouth. You can ask your dentist for that. He'll give it to you for free. So these are all kinds of little things, and my community on Facebook has also brainstormed a lot of these ideas, so we put some blog pieces together about what other people do. Everybody has different needs, but this is a really great way to just put all the things you might need. I have a little bit of sunscreen in here, I have moleskin in here, and then I was in Cambodia recently, so I've also got some Valium in here, but you know, that's up to you what you put in here. So. Hair ties, anything you can think of that fits within this little box. You can make your own customized box of awesome, and it's a really fun thing to kind of brainstorm what are the things that could save your day. A sewing kit can save anybody's day. So that's a really small thing that doesn't weigh a lot, that can make a big difference for your trip and for everybody around it. So you look at me and you go, I can't carry on because I have such big things of products and medicines and all these things. You can lighten up, I promise you. So let me show you what I do. This is your 311 bag. It's carry-on approved. There's a lot of different versions of something like this you can find on Amazon. It has to be clear, but this means you don't move from a toiletries kit to that plastic bag. You just have one thing. I like to get one that either has a clip or has a hook on it, so you can hook this onto the towel bar in your bathroom. That's the biggest problem with toiletries kits, is finding out how to hang them somewhere, because usually there's nowhere to put them. But this is everything and more than I would need for an entire trip. And I mean that because I literally stepped off a plane 3 hours ago. So this is actually what I would take with me, because I did just this past week. So toothbrush, I like to bring a Sonicare because, you know, I take care of my teeth. These are really nice. They're rechargeable Sonicares. Have you seen these before? Very cool. If you haven't, they have them at Target, and they are either rechargeable with a USB, or you can put batteries in them, and you get to choose which one. This is the best toothbrush, electric toothbrush I've found for travel, and I've tested about 30 different toothbrushes for travel. So travel journalist speaking here, this is the one. You want this. It's about $35 at Target, and it goes into its own little case. Superb. This is another one that I found that all of the people who follow me now have. It's look at that, it's a razor. Has its own little case, and you can replace the heads, so that's really easy. I like to sometimes not bring all the toiletries that I need, and this is a hot tip. You don't actually need to bring any toiletries. You can buy them anywhere you go. I've been to probably 50 countries. I was in Zimbabwe recently. Do they have toothpaste in Zimbabwe? Yeah, they do, actually. So there is no country on earth that you will go to that they don't have things that you are going to leave at home. I was in Japan a few months ago with some friends of mine, and I ran out of deodorant. And now I found my favorite new deodorant because it smells like roses. So you never know. Leaving stuff at home behind and forgetting stuff actually leads to cool discoveries. So never walk out of your house feeling like, oh my gosh, I forgot my toothpaste or my deodorant. It's okay. You're going to get to your destination, and you might find something you prefer to home. I found some shampoo and conditioner in Japan that I seriously want to fly back to Tokyo to buy it, because it's better than anything I've ever used here. So think about the pharmacies and the Walgreens of whatever country you're going to, and just go and look. Like Korea, what a fantastic place to look for skincare items. Italy has amazing stuff in their pharmacies. So really just kind of be cool about their toiletries. Don't freak out. You can always bring things. The things you can't replace, well, you can, but it's hard. Contacts, don't forget to bring enough if you wear contacts. And like medications and pills. So I don't bring bottles with me because they're very, very space consuming. What I do is I'll take a picture of the bottle, and I also have the prescription on my phone with my app from my healthcare provider, and I put as much as I need into a Tic Tac box. I also use an Altoids tin sometimes, so I just put as much as I need, as many pills as I need for my trip, plus about 20% more, just because you never know, you might get stuck. And that's where I keep all of my pills I have to travel with every day. And some people will say, oh, well, you can't do that because you have to have the original bottle with the prescription. 25 years of travel, nobody has ever asked me about my Tic Tac box. So, and this really trims down the amount of space and weight you need if you can put all of your prescription medications in one small container, and then you have proof that you're allowed to have those. I think that's a good way to go. More Benadryl, because you just never know about Benadryl. Yeah, Benadryl, I like that. Hairbrush, easy. Sunscreen, face cream, which is my #1 suggestion, get a face cream with sunscreen in it. That can double as sunscreen for your whole body if it needs to be. Toothpaste, now this is a funny little thing. For me, when I go looking for the toothpaste for my trips, I don't buy the ones in the travel size because those are really expensive. Have you ever noticed that? Per ounce of toothpaste, you get like 10% of what you get if you buy a full-size one. There are certain toothpastes that sell a 3 ounce or a 3.3 ounce size that is TSA approved. So that's another assignment. Go to your local Target or Walgreens and start looking at the ounces and find a toothpaste that's sold in a realistic human size, but that is also within the TSA amount. I have these kind of fun little things. I think I got these off of Amazon. Look how cool those are. So they're just little pouchy things, and they I fill them with my shampoo and conditioner, the one that I prefer at home, and they're basically flat. So that packs a lot flatter, and these little containers are much lighter than the thing you might find at the pharmacy for a couple of bucks. So you're saving weight right there, and it's reusable. So I love these little kind of things. You can do little hacks. I'm not gonna bring a whole lot of bug repellent, because you never know, but you can get towelettes. You don't need to bring a bottle. You're not putting on mosquito repellent every day unless you're going to the Amazon or something, which I did do recently, but this for just everyday use is fine. You can get some Tide packets for doing laundry in your sink. I also love, that I didn't bring today, dehydrated laundry sheets. Have you seen those? Earth Freeze is the one that I use at home. I put those into a Ziploc bag, and then just one of those sheets, or even half, in a sink, you can wash all of your socks and things. And you might think, well, I don't need that because I can just use shampoo. It's not the same thing. And trust me, after 25 years of washing my underwear in the sink, it's not the same thing. Get the little dehydrated laundry sheets or these little packets of Tide. And that's how I keep from having to do laundry with such a small amount of clothing. I do my socks and my underwear and my bras practically every day. And here's the real hack. What I do is when I get in the shower, I take off my bra and my underwear and my socks and I throw them on the floor of the shower. I wash them in the shower and I hang them up. I know that's a little extreme for most people. That's a real backpackery trick, but that's a real way to keep the weight down in here. Other stuff in here, my favorite mascara, and I don't know if you've ever seen this before, Idol by Lancome. This does not come off your eyelashes until you take it off. It's amazing, and I got it in Saudi Arabia, no, not Saudi Arabia, in, what's the other one? Dubai, from a woman with a lot of makeup on. And I went into Sephora and I saw the woman with the most eye makeup who was a salesperson, and I said, how do you keep that from smudging? And she's like, oh sister, come on, I have a secret for you. So this is what I'm looking for though, just as a concept, is what makeup can I bring that I can put on in the morning and not even worry that it's gonna be off by the evening. And I know some people don't wear makeup at all, but I like to wear at least mascara and lipstick and call it a day. So these are just my tips of things that I have found that are, put it on once, don't worry about it. So this is one.
And I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Idol by Lancome. I'll leave this stuff up for you guys can come and take a look. And then these are two, this is a total tour guide trick. Years ago, one of my tour guide colleagues said, you have to go and get this lipstick, Revlon Color State Overtime. You put it on in the morning and you have to scrub it off at night. That's how long it lasts. That is a huge tour guide trick. These are all kind of the same product. You might find something you like better, but it's a really good idea to find one that works for you so you don't have to think about it again. And then the last little thing, well, floss, because floss, is face powder. I don't usually put a lot of stuff on my face. I do my moisturizer, and men, you need to have your moisturizer too. But then my sister sent this to me, Bare Minerals, which is like a powder mineral makeup. It's really good to go over the top of everything to keep you from getting sunburnt. And the place that travelers get sunburnt the most is their nose and the tops of their ears and the top of their forehead. So put your sunscreen there, but then if you have something like this, it'll make your face look nice. It makes it look like you're taking care of your face, but also it really reinforces that sunscreen. So I love this stuff. That's basically my whole makeup kit. And then this is just my little powder brush. Isn't that cute? Looks like a lipstick. So it just is all nice and tidy and put together. The rest of the stuff in here is not really important. It's just extra things. Like I love these stretchy things. Even if you have not very long hair, these are really good for other things because you can kind of lash things to your bag with them, but they're really good practical little things. And then there's impractical stuff because sometimes we want to be fun, and I have ridiculous, stupid glitter eyeshadow for the days when I want to have stupid fun, because you never know. So that's kind of my really basic kit. I keep this with me. This will be going with me. Exactly these things that you see here are going back in this bag and with me to a month in Italy in about 3 weeks. So this is no joke. This is exactly what I do. Electronics are going to have different things than I do, I'm sure. The problem with the wires, look at all the wires, right? How do we make these fewer? So it's good to kind of think ahead of time about what wires you'll need. My biggest tip for you guys with wires is please bring a connector for your phone that has a standard USB port on the back of it. Because the biggest problem I see with my tour members is they brought one that has these little USB-C ones, and then they get to wherever they're going and nobody has these. So you have to make sure that you have enough, like the planes, they only want the USB normal ones, right? So make sure you have the right kind of cords that fit your phone that are gonna work wherever you go. So lots and lots of wires. Headphones, I think it's really great, especially if you're taking a tour, to have your own headphones. A lot of tours, if you go to the Vatican Museum, for example, they're gonna have an audio system. So any kind of day tour or multi-day tour, cruises, that's another good example. They're gonna have a little box that hangs around your neck and a really crappy pair of headphones that sounds like, you know, it's like really crackly. So if you bring your own headphones that you love, this is one of the few things I'll spend weight and space on to make sure I have good headphones so I can sleep on a plane. And I love the noise canceling function on these because the plane noise is really loud. Once you get used to having noise canceling headphones on, you can't go back. So this is just my particular favorite one, is the Bose ones. If I'm trying to be really good about weight, I'll just bring little AirPods or something. And then you can get a thing called an AirFly that will pair your AirPods to the screen on your on the airplane, so you can use them both ways. But this is a big splurge weight-wise, but honestly, I absolutely love them. These are the best headphones on the planet because you can't hear anything. As my boyfriend can attest, because he was trying to talk to me on the plane today and I couldn't hear him, so they're great. Okay, so going on to what's inside my bag. I keep a Ziploc bag, and actually bring Ziploc containers. These Ziploc bags, bring 3 or 4. Many countries don't sell them. Did you know that? You cannot buy Ziploc bags in Italy, not like these. And you'll make a lot of friends if you bring lots of Ziploc bags and just hand them out to locals, like, hey, have a Ziploc bag. It's a whole new world for a lot of people. So I put into here anything that seems like kind of an overflow emergency item. One of the things in here I'd like to highlight is electrolytes. This is a really cool hack. Bring these with you and have them in either your emergency bag or your overflow emergency bag, because you never know, if you're feeling a little weird, it might be that you're dehydrated. And more often than not, tour members who think they need to go see a doctor are just dehydrated. So this is a really good way to do that. And if you have whatever, antibiotics, any kind of special medication, I have just an extra bag of things I don't know that I'll be able to find abroad. Like Tylenol is a good example. You can buy paracetamol. Tylenol is not the same thing. It's close. So if you have really specific needs for your medication, bring a Ziploc bag full of those things and backups for emergencies. Now we're gonna get down to the clothes. And how do I pack my clothes? I use packing cubes. These packing cubes are so easy. I've been doing this for years, and you can kind of compartmentalize the things that go into your bag. This one has underwear and socks, so I know what's in it. And then I have another big one in here. This one is pants and tops. And this is basically all the clothes that I would take for an entire trip. This is a really specialized one. This is from Tom Ben because it's two-sided. There's the front and the underside. The concept on this was supposed to be clean clothes, dirty clothes, but I actually found a better use for it, which is that you can do roll on the top and fold on the bottom. There are whole TikTok channels debating this. Is it better to roll or fold? The official answer, I'm a travel professional. I'm like a brain surgeon of travel. The official answer is neither is superior. It depends. And actually the most important word in the Italian language is dipende. It depends. What's the weather gonna be like tomorrow? Tell me.
Depende.
Sure. What's the best thing on the menu tonight?
Depende.
Is it better to roll or fold? There you go.
Depende.
Yeah. So some things are good to be rolled, some things are good to be folded. The way I look at it is you fold things that could wrinkle and you roll things that won't. So on this one, what that ends up being is shirts, t-shirts, tank tops, things like that, knit jacket kind of things get rolled and put on the top. And usually what I like to do is arrange them by color so that when I look at them, I go, okay, that stuff all goes together. Flip side is going to be pants, like a dress shirt if I have a button-up shirt, and a dress I put on the bottom side. So I'll just show you some of the things. I just tossed these in here as an example. These are things I have taken with me on trips. They don't necessarily all coordinate, but that's okay. I usually like to bring at least one long sleeve shirt. This is a super light shirt. I'm pretty sure they have something like this here. It's like a lightweight wool, merino wool, so that's a really warm base layer. You never know when you might need that. I like to bring a cashmere sweater. Why cashmere? Now it's super overpriced and trendy, but it's also because it's very light. It's like air thin, light, and warm, and very soft. So I highly recommend if you're gonna invest in one piece of clothing for travel, have it be a cashmere sweater that you love that fits you well. I wear a cashmere sweater on the airplane. That's all I wear is just a t-shirt and a cashmere sweater. It keeps you super, super warm. Land's End probably sells the best ones that are nice and thick. But yeah, this is the one splurge I highly recommend because you can use it for a lot of things. White or black will go with everything, depending on how often you spill gelato on things, I guess. Because if I have a sweater like this, I can guarantee you that there's gonna be gelato all over the front of it, but that's okay.
Also remember not to put it in the dryer.
Yes, don't put it in the dryer. That's my child saying that because he knows how many child-sized cashmere sweaters we have in the house. Yeah. So I do a mix of sleeveless tops and short sleeve tops and 3/4 length tops. And I know a lot of women feel like, well, I can't wear a sleeveless top because I don't want anybody to see this. Sister, we all have this. Nobody cares. And it's actually wonderful to have tank tops because sometimes you're traveling places where it gets super hot and you don't even know why. So I really recommend, if I was to pick out an outfit for all of you guys, I would say kind of like 3/4 length pants, a tank top, and then a little cardigan jacket over the top. Depending on, the weight would depend on where you're going. And that way you can dress it up with a scarf, you can dress it down if you want, and it also will help you regulate your body temperature, which understandably, women my age and older, we're concerned about regulating our body temperature. So you want a lot of options. So scarves, cardigans, all these things can kind of really help. So I always take at least a couple of different tank tops, just a really simple one. This is silk. I love silk if you can find it because it weighs absolutely nothing. This tank top is silk and it weighs 3 ounces. And how do I know that? Because I weighed it, but how do I know that right now?
You wrote it.
Because I take a Sharpie and I write the weight on the tags of my clothing. So there's your hot tip. This one here I think also has a weight, let me see. This is a really nice kind of fabric. It's just a super thin cotton. This is from Old Navy. You might overlook something like this on the rack because you're like, oh, not my style or too light or whatever. But because it's super light cotton like this, you can layer it. So you can put a tank top underneath it and then this over the top. So don't overlook the super thin light stuff. That's what you want because then you have more stylish options. A nice boxy white t-shirt. I know we have some here in the shop today. Never goes out of style. And again, you're like, well, I'm gonna spill spaghetti on that. Sure you are, but I'm gonna teach you how to clean that off because there's easy ways. Salt. Has anybody ever tried cleaning white stuff with salt?
No.
I had big rings underneath, sweat rings, the yellowy rings underneath this. I rubbed salt in an Airbnb that I had in the kitchen, salt and water paste, set it out overnight, came back the next day, tossed it in the wash, good as new. So, you can take white. Some of you are like, oh, I know I can wear white pants. Well, good for you. That's not me, I can't do that. White pants are a no-no. Another silk top that I got that just weighs nothing. It's, these tops, you can take as many as you want because they weigh 2 to 3 ounces. And to make a comparison, here is just a regular t-shirt. Black t-shirt, super versatile, love it. Lots of good choices even in the shop that you can find. Let's just find out how much a standard black t-shirt weighs though. That's 4.5 ounces. So going with a little silk will save you a couple ounces. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but it accumulates, right? Okay, flip side. We'll see what's on the other side here. And this is where I put my pants. There are amazing choices here for pants. If I told you to buy something in this shop for your travels, I would say pants, because that is where most of your weight is going to be. And that's where I get men coming to my packing classes saying, well, I can't pack like you because my pants weigh more. I'm like, okay, but have you been to REI? Have you been to these stores that do these technical fabrics? Because they have a lot of really good choices. So a couple things that I would suggest. These are merino wool pants. I know some of you have probably seen these before. There's Icebreaker, Allbirds makes something similar. I'm sure that they have something like this in the store as well. And these are kind of a funny length, which may look a little weird, but they can be worn in so many seasons. You can wear these in the summer, you can wear them in the winter, you can wear them all over the place. I love these, and gray is a great color. These are Prana, which I know they carry here in the store. They have a nice little stretchy waist, so who cares how much food you ate at that dinner? And they are a fabric that's really lightweight, but also stretchy and dries really fast. These are fantastic pants. Prana's a really great brand. They sell a lot of that stuff in the shop. Their dresses are kind of the same. I always have at least one Prana dress and pair of pants because they're great. I even have my kids wearing these now. Not today though. These are silk pants. These are Eileen Fisher, and Eileen Fisher is very expensive, as you probably know. I get mine from ThreadUp, which is an online thrift store. So you can get a pair of these nice stretchy waist silk pants, which weigh absolutely nothing. Now, do you remember how much these pants weighed? Do you remember how much? The first one was what, 1.5 pounds? The second one was what?
10 ounces?
Okay, let's see how much this is. Silk pants, 7 ounces. So I can take 3 pairs of this, 4 pairs of these, for that 1 pair of heavier pants. So you can see how you can have as much of a wardrobe as you want if you just make good choices, right? I love a white linen shirt because it can be a jacket, it can be a shirt, it can be tied around my waist if I have something on my butt. There's a lot of great things you can do with a white linen shirt. So this is one of my favorite things to suggest. And who cares if it's, this is terribly wrinkly, I just pulled it out of the wash. Who cares? It looks kind of like casually wrinkly. And that's a great strategy when you pick out fabrics, finding ones that look like they're meant to be wrinkly. And I don't think we have a good example here. Maybe, yeah, these are kind of a good example. They're kind of a little wrinkly on purpose, right? So choosing fabrics that have texture, really smart, because if they get wrinkled, who can tell? Nobody can tell. So I would never bring anything that needs to look pressed. Wearing something that kind of looks, let's say, bohemian disheveled, I think is very cool. Because look, I didn't iron this dress, right?
Dogs, my favorite dogs.
I am bohemian disheveled tonight. Okay, so it's totally cool. Another dress that I bought this in Thailand, it's a silk dress, same example, bohemian disheveled. Because these kinds of things, and I think you've probably seen this before, they call them like broomstick kind of dresses, crinkly dresses. This is how you pack them. You roll them up and you tie them in a knot. And then who cares? Because you're not going to get any wrinkles because you're supposed to have wrinkles. You pack them like that. And then when you undo them, the wrinkles are uniform, right? So it looks like, Urban Outfitters did it. So I love that. That's a really good little trick for certain things. You could even do that with this if you wanted to give it uniform wrinkles to make it look purposeful. Lots of ways to do that. So again, this cube, like I said, is from Tom Bim. They have lots of other ones. Do we have our other bag? Oh, yes. There are lots of examples of packing cubes. And I'm going to leave some out for you guys to look at. I'll pull these out later. But they come in all different shapes and sizes. So the idea with packing cubes is you should think about how do you want to categorize things. What I've done in the past is 1 cube for tops, 1 cube for bottoms, 1 cube for underwear. And why you love that is when you need to find something, you open your bag and I'm like, oh, okay, wait, where is that 1 cube? Oh yeah, the green cube has my socks in it, okay? So now we get to the sexy part of the show. This is the underwear portion of the show. And I just want to give you a few examples on why this weight thing, you can even translate to underpants, and I know this is going to be a little racy, but you're going to have to live with it. I brought a couple of bras for you to look at. my bras that have been heavily used. I think these are retired actually. That's just a normal person bra, right? This is another choice. Look, one that's made of lace. And I know that's not for everybody, I know. But it weighs, you can hold them up like this. This weighs less than half of what this weighs. So making really good choices about your underwear. I would always bring one structured bra. This is just me because I am not flat-chested. One structured bra, one sports bra, because sports bras are so comfortable, and maybe an extra spare. Sports bras are very funny because if you get like a black sports bra and you bring a pair of black underpants and you need a bikini in a pinch, you have one. I've suggested this to audiences before, and it's very funny because I will see women on my tours wearing a black sports bra and black underwear, and they're like, you told me to do that. Yes, I did. So you can kind of fake a bikini, because sometimes you go on trips and you don't know if you're gonna need a swimsuit. And those of you looking at me going, I'm not ever wearing a bikini. Every single one of these beautiful bodies in this room can wear a bikini. And you know why I know? Because I spend time in Europe. And all of you are more shapely and fit than any woman I've seen on the European beach, believe me. So it's more comfortable and it's a nice thing in a pinch. Get yourself a sports bra or just a pair of bikini bottoms, whatever makes you feel comfortable, and then you have a swimsuit when you don't know if you need one, right? Okay, last couple things about underwear. Socks, I always bring one pair of very warm socks and one pair of lower socks. I don't bring tons because I do wash them frequently, every day. The stuff that gets stinky fast, I try to do every night before I go to bed if I can. Underwear, kind of a funny topic because there's a lot of different options out there. These are standard underwear, just the cotton ones. Again, I'm gonna weigh my underpants. 1 1/4 ounces for those. These are from REI. These ones are 5/8 ounces. Okay. This is another brand that I love called On Gossamer. These are brand new, I promise. They're not heavy. But they're made of mesh. There's a few different companies that make mesh underpants. These are not cheap, but they are 1/2 ounce.
Oh, wow.
How many pairs of underpants can you now bring? I love these mesh ones, and I'll bring usually around 7 pairs, because then I don't have to feel like I have to wash them every night, you know. It's nice to have a week's worth of underwear. I know that seems excessive. Love it, personally, because sometimes you're just too busy. So this is something to think about. Like if I brought 7 pairs that weigh this much, that's the same as like 15 pairs of these, right? So it all adds up. That's just the general idea. Okay, any questions about anything I've covered so far? I have one more.
What was the name of the mesh?
These are called On Gossamer, and you can get them on Amazon or at Nordstrom, and they are miraculous. Now that I've weighed my bag, I've been a good little girl, and I get a bonus item. I don't know what your bonus item is, but all of us get a bonus item. Do you remember well, I don't know if all of you have kids. I have kids. When I would take them to the grocery store, I would tell them that if they were good, they could have an impulse item. Have you ever done that impulse item? Well, Costco, think about that. Do you allow yourself an impulse item? Yeah, I'm gonna buy that box of Twizzlers because it looks really good. I do not need macadamia brittle, but I'm going to buy that because it's my impulse item. I limit myself to one impulse item, and it's the same thing with packing. I limit myself to one item I truly don't really need, but I really want. And here's my impulse item.
Oh, wow.
A full-size down pillow that fit in this bag that stays within the weight limit. You can do it. This is the crazy thing. People don't believe me that I carry my own pillow. It's a joke with my tour guests that come with me traveling around the world. They're like, you can't possibly have a pillow in there. And I always do, because if I don't sleep well, I'm kind of a princess, honestly. If I get into bed and they have bad pillows, I'm not sleeping well. So this actually saves not just my sanity, but the sanity of all of my tour members who come with me. You don't want a crabby tour guide, so that's why I bring this. I have a silk pillowcase on the top, which doesn't weigh anything, and also it's very good for your skin. I'm actually 90, right? So you want to make sure that you have that. All right, and then kind of last but not least, with this piece of things I wanted to show you is shoes. Now shoes, the reason I started doing these packing talks is the #1 phone call we used to get at Rick Steves was, what kind of shoes should I bring? And I don't know. I mean, we all have different feet. So I started investigating, what is this? Why do people keep asking me what kind of shoes to wear? And it's a big deal because as a travel journalist, I'll walk 15 to 20 miles a day, checking things out, writing and investigating. And I realized real quick, shoes will ruin your day if you don't have the right ones. So how do we balance weight and comfort? And that's a really tough thing. And I'll just give you a couple of thoughts. These, for example, are shoes that I have traveled with for a few years. Naut, N-A-O-T, but what I love about them is they're not heavy, but they have rubber soles. Everybody loves Birkenstocks. Don't buy Birkenstocks. People slip in Birkenstocks all the time. These have nice grippy soles, and these are actually thin and very, very lightweight. How do you find the weight on a shoe? I know your Birkenstock people are like, you're crazy, but it's true. Your shoes are too heavy. Go on to Zappos and start researching the shoe you want to purchase. They have the weight on their website. That's how I select my shoes, is I narrow down the field. And I'm not even joking when I tell you I take this to Nordstrom with me. I really do. I know that sounds insane, but I'm the girl that's in Nordstrom rack, sitting with 20 pairs of shoes like a nest with my thing like crazy, weighing all my shoes. And I've got other people doing it. So if you see people in Nordstrom with a kitchen scale, you know that they follow me. So, but this is important because again, like I'll give you an example. This is these ones I travel with all the time. They are 9 ounces per shoe. This is where your weight is. These ones here I love. They're so cute, but they're just heavy. They're Taos. They're really nice. These are 11 ounces. I have not taken these on a trip, no matter how much I love them. They're too heavy. Okay. So think about these things. One other pair I bring, what I usually do, I try to bring 3 pairs of shoes. I'll bring a nice sandal. I'll bring a running shoe. These are On Clouds. I know you've all seen these on everybody's feet. These are ridiculously lightweight, 9 ounces. Wow. So this sandal and this tennis shoe are virtually the same. So tennis shoes are really where you're gonna see a lot of your weight. So please do weigh these. And you'll see a big difference depending on the brands. Some of them, like I think it's a New Balance, they make a few different ones that are made of foam that are significantly lighter, like half as heavy as anything out there. So I do one kind of trainer running shoe, one really nice walking shoe, and I usually will slip in a 3rd pair of shoes, usually flip-flops. Now you don't need to love flip-flops. The reason I say flip-flops, the lightest ones you can find. Sometimes your feet cannot stand the shoes you are walking in anymore. I was just at Disney World for the past 5 days. And my feet cannot ever see the shoes I wore there ever again because they're so sore. And so changing your shoe day to day will actually help to restore your feet. So bring 2, even 3 if you can, pairs of shoes, just for the variety, because your foot really likes that. It needs a little bit of a rest. So these are kind of the shoes I suggest. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is I want to show you the bag I actually took with me to Disney World, because this is a completely different thing, completely invaluable, because who cares if they get wet. These are my favorite flip-flops that I bring with me. Everybody, again, who follows me, I can spot them on the streets of Rome because they're wearing this shoe. This is Teva Mush Mandolin Wedges. They don't really make a lot of them anymore. They weigh nothing. We can weigh them just for fun. They're so light. They are 3 ounces a shoe.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And they are so cute. I mean, I should just wear them. So cute. So they kind of like, you know how having a heel makes your leg look a little sexier, a little bit nicer, a little bit friskier? Look, does that look like a flip-flop to you? A little bit dressier, right? So I take these with me everywhere because they're kind of my extra pair of shoes in case I can't stand my shoes. Okay, but that wasn't what I wanted to tell you. I got distracted. This was just a fun experiment I did last fall, and it worked so well for a cruise. You see what that is? Oh, watch this. This is not the lightweight packing option, but it is very cool and easy. It's a folding wardrobe. There's all the clothes I took with me to Disney World. This is another little thing with little cubbies. And then on the very bottom, this is going to drop down and has all of my underwear and stuff in it. Wow. So to unpack my bag, I just opened up the closet in my hotel, took that up and just dropped it open and this morning when I packed up to come home, sandwiched back up, tossed it into the bag, out the door. So part of the packing cube strategy, the wardrobe strategy, is also to keep your stuff organized, because I found before I did any of this stuff, I'd open my bag and it would be like an explosion, it'd be like popcorn, right? There's stuff all over your room, and then packing up to leave takes you an hour. Like, we don't have that time when we're really busy. So these are just some interesting strategies for you to employ if you are thinking about doing a lot of travel. A couple of other little things in here. Power strip. Great idea if you're traveling with other people who forget their cords and bases, which I tend to. And another one I love, fan. This is a new thing I just discovered. I went on a cruise with a friend who snores. You turn on a fan, put it next to your head, you can't hear them snoring anymore. So that's my last little fun travel tip of the day. Okay? So I think you probably have some good strategies now for packing light. Any questions, please? Ask me questions. Yes?
So you were gonna do a comparison on the roller bags.
Yes.
Did you ever, I tried to find it on your website, but I couldn't find it. Did you do more than one, or?
Yeah, I did a few experimentations on these. I think I might have put them in a Substack. I don't know where we ended up putting it. But here's what I think about roller bags. Roller bags are very tricky because the sizing really is going to depend on what you're doing with it. This Travel Pro one is a really nice bag. A lot of people complain it's too big for European travel. I actually did have trouble getting this into a Delta overhead compartment just this week. So that's the problem. If I were to tell you to buy one kind of bag ever, it would be Briggs & Riley, which is a huge investment. They're about $400 or $500. They will last you forever. They sent me their European carry-on though, and I was testing it, and I hated it because it was so small. I couldn't put anything in it. It's like at that point, I may as well have a backpack, right? So I think that this is a really personal thing. I guess what I would look for in a rolling bag is, number one, the weight. The brand called IT, is the one that my tour guests rave about the most because it weighs empty between 3 and 5 pounds, which is as light as you can get. They're a little flimsy in my view. For me, who travels months a year, that doesn't make sense. But for people who go on 1 or 2 trips a year, that's totally fine to do that. So if you're looking for weight, I would recommend the IT brand. If you're looking for build quality, Briggs & Riley, no doubt, if money's no question. If you're looking for something that's affordable, but really well tested and well loved, Travel Pro, I think, is the number one choice.
I had that on my last trip last year. My zipper blew after about my 3rd use, so I'm off.
This exact
Travel.
one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
that's
off Travel
interesting.
Pro.
Because I had the same problem with the Travel Pro hard side. The zipper blew after one trip. So that is really a problem, the zipper build. That's why, I guess I'm kind of at the point where I don't love the idea of, I have probably 15 suitcases because, companies will send me things to test. And I'm like, you know what, at a certain point in your life, just buy the nice bag and it'll be the only bag you ever have. So that's why I like, look at the Briggs & Riley line. It's very expensive, but it's the same as the Tom Bihn stuff. I buy a bag once and I've used it for 20 years. The bag everybody sees me with that has the dragons on it, I've had that bag since 2002. I just toss it in the wash and I keep going. It's worth it if you're gonna travel out to invest in gear that will last you, because consumerism is a problem, right? So it's maybe a better idea. Traveling leaves a big footprint already. If we can have one bag we use for a long time, maybe that's a better choice. But you have to love it, right? And that's the other thing, just with packing light in general. Everything on this table, I love. I love these shoes. I love all those pieces that make me feel good. Don't ever take anything that's brand new, never. Don't ever take anything that you kind of like. You have to love it. Because when you're traveling, anything you don't kind of like about that is gonna be so much worse. You're gonna hate that piece of clothing or those shoes or that makeup. Whatever you bring, if you don't love it, do not bring it. The same with the luggage. If you don't love the luggage, go and keep looking until you find the one that really speaks to you, right? Okay.